So the second toxicity under bacterial toxin that we are going to discuss in this video is the tetanus. See, tetanus, it is a non-contagious disease that is produced by the toxin elaborated by the gram-positive bacteria Clostridium tetani. So it is a spore-forming bacilli. So often this Clostridium tetani spores, so it will persist in the soil for many years, are the feces of some animal, particularly horses, which contain very high amount of spores and might contaminate soil also. So the animal with wounds getting in contact with such soil, the contaminated soil with the spores, and spores getting entry into the animal through the wound, and during anaerobic condition, which is most favorable for this tetany, Clostridium tetani, so this spore will germinate in the anaerobic condition, and that favorable condition, it helps in the elaboration of this tetanus toxin. So tetanus toxin is also called by the name tetanospasmin, since it causes spasm and also produce tetany, so the name called as tetanospasmin. So the animals which are more susceptible for tetanus are horses, and human beings are more susceptible. Then cattle, pigs and sheep, then dogs and cat, then the birds. So young animals, they will be more susceptible for this tetanus toxicity. And as I told, anaerobic condition favors elaboration of toxin. See, deep punctured wounds, or say for example umbilical wound. See, right after the parturition, so in a filthy area, in an unhygienic area, when a calf is born or a young one is born, so that umbilicus, it will get contaminated with the soil or the feces, so the spores will easily get entry through the wound produced in the umbilical cord and might produce this tetanus toxicity. So there, deep inside the umbilical cord, so it will produce an anaerobic condition where the spore will germinate and elaborate this tetanus toxin. So the necrotic areas in the umbilical cord also it will produce, it will act as a favorable condition to elaborate the toxin. So put together, anaerobic condition, it will favor the elaboration of the tetanus toxin. So what will be its mechanism of action? So once the tetanus toxin is elaborated, so it will get attracted towards the motor nerve, and through this motor nerve, it will get transported along with this nerve into the CNS. So in contrast to any other toxin, it will get circulated, it will get into the systemic circulation first. So from systemic circulation, it will spread into the different organ. So whereas here the tetanus toxin, so it is attracted more towards the nerve. So here the nerves will act as the passenger of this tetanus toxin. So it will get entry into the CNS and gets entry into the presynaptic inhibitory motor nerve endings. And inhibitory motor nerve endings, so once it get, since it happens at the CNS, so the main inhibitory nerve ending, so generally they are GABAergic neurons, or the neurons that contain the glycine as a neurotransmitter. So what this tetanus toxin will do, once it gets into the presynaptic nerve ending, it mainly cleaves the synaptobrevin. So as you know, synaptobrevin, it is one of the protein involved in the docking complex formation. So docking complex, I already explained it in the botulism itself. So docking complex helps in the attachment of synaptic vesicle with the presynaptic membrane, and this docking complex is the one which helps in the exocytosis of the neurotransmitter. So when it cleaves the synaptobrevin, it affects the docking complex, so there will be no exocytosis of the neurotransmitter. So here the exocytosis of glycine and GABA will be inhibited, their release will be inhibited. Since it gets into the inhibitory nerve ending, so the inhibitory neurotransmitter release will be inhibited. So you know, once there will be inhibition in the release of inhibitory neurotransmitter, the net effect will be the excitation. So as a result, there will be excessive stimulation of the spinal cord. So as a result, there will be spasmodic tonic contraction of the skeletal muscle, and the phenomenon we call it as tetany, and that's why the name the tetanus. Tetany is the prominent feature in case of tetanus mainly due to the spasmodic tonic contraction of the skeletal muscle. So there will be extensor rigidity of the skeletal muscle. So similar to strychnine poisoning, the same thing happens here also. Right, so that will be the mechanism of action. The important thing here is tetanus gets entry into the CNS through the nerves, not through the circulation. Then the clinical sign. So you will observe the classical clinical signs in the tetanus. So initial signs of muscular stiffness accompanied with the muscular tremors. See, initially you might notice the erect ears. So there will be erect ears, then there will be prolapse of the third eyelid. So initial signs. Then the initial signs of muscular stiffness accompanied with muscular tremor. Then animals, they are excited to general spasm. So whenever you stimulate it with external stimuli. So if you touch the animal, there will be prolapse of third eyelid. If you touch the animal, the ears will become erect, or it will elevate the tail. So external stimuli, so it will be excited to the general spasm. Then tetany of the masticatory muscle. So because of tetany in the masticatory muscle, extensor rigidity of this masticatory muscle, there will be difficulty in prehension and mastication. So as a result, there will be locked jaw condition. So you have to forcefully open the jaw. So there will be closed jaw condition. So the animal unable to open its mouth also. So even if you try to open the mouth, so it will be very difficult to open the mouth of the animal suffering from tetanus. So such condition you call it as locked jaw condition. Then ears will be erect, stiff tail will be there, third eyelid prolapse, then stiffness of the neck, opisthotonus will be there, then back and leg muscles. So there will be extensor rigidity of the hind limbs and the forelimb. So the put together, the stance will be like as it appears as a saw horse posture or wooden horse. So wooden horse posture or saw horse posture is a prominent clinical sign in case of the tetanus. So coupled with all these prominent clinical signs, you also notice cardiac arrhythmia, tachycardia and the hypertension. So finally, spasms which affects the respiratory muscle, so it will lead to the respiratory failure and the death of the animal. And this death of the animal, it is very much imminent in case of tetanus toxicity. So more often, so the tetanus toxicity ends up in death even after the recommended treatment, right? So postmortem finding, non-specific postmortem finding, since it mainly involves the nervous system. So diagnosis, so the important diagnostic feature is the history only. So history of any wounds. See what kind of history? See, if the animal recently castrated or undergone shearing or dehorning or recently parturiated animal. So recently born calf also. So recently born calf, as I told you, the umbilical infection through umbilicus, it might go through, or any wound, abscess turned out into wound. So getting in contact with the soil, it will lead to the tetanus. So history is very important while diagnosing this tetanus toxicity. Then classical clinical signs. See, once clinical sign gets aggravated, very difficult to treat the animal. Okay, so the prognosis will be grave once the clinical signs gets aggravated. Initial clinical sign, recommended treatment, the animal can get survive. Then microscopic and culture examination. So the wounded area, you can collect the sample from the necrotic wounded area. Then microscopically you can examine that. So you will find the terminal spore forming bacilli. Or the classical diagnostic thing is mice inoculation test, similar to botulism. So you inject the samples collected into the mice. So within few days the mice will die, or within 24 hours the mice will die, or it will show the classical signs of the tetanus. So mice inoculation test, it will also serve as a gold standard test in case of tetanus also. Then treatment. So the recommended treatment is you neutralize the tetanus toxin initially, then decrease the bacterial load, then go for the muscle relaxation. So those are principles in the treatment of tetanus. So first you can go for tetanus antitoxin to neutralize the toxin. So till today standard dose has not been titrated. So still no standard dose is available. So in some literature it will say 100 international unit per kg body weight, or in aggravated condition, you can go from 1500 to 3 lakh international unit per animal through intravenous route. Then penicillin in higher doses, in very large doses, you have to administer the penicillin. And also you can go for the long acting penicillin, you can go for benzathine penicillin through IM route. Then anticonvulsant, so rather than anticonvulsant, you can go for muscle relaxant. So you can go for diazepam, which is easily available, or if the farmer ready to bear the cost, can go for methocarbamol also. So methocarbamol, it is a centrally acting muscle relaxant. It will also give a good result. Then tetanus toxoid immunization. So like in human beings where TT vaccine will be there, so you can go for tetanus toxoid immunization. So rather than the treatment, the managemental practices. So prevention here plays a wide pivotal role. See, as I told you, umbilical infection. So cut the umbilicals, disinfect the umbilicus, or maintain hygienic condition, or while doing any of this castration or anything, so maintain hygiene and disinfecting the surrounding part. It will serve the purpose rather than treating the tetanus condition. Then there are some assignment questions. So assignment questions are: dash neurotransmitters are not released during tetanus condition. Locked jaw condition is a characteristic feature of dash. Mortality rate of tetanus in young cows is low. True or false? So this is about tetanus toxicity. So we have completed the fungal toxin as well as bacterial toxin. So the remaining chapters are therapeutic agents, toxicity due to therapeutic agent, toxicity due to food and feed additive. So in that I will cover toxicity due to therapeutic agents. So in that therapeutic agent also, so every drug, if it is given in higher doses, bound to produce toxicity. So Paracelsus is already told, so there is nothing which is not a poisoning. So only dose will differentiate between a remedy and a poisoning. So for therapeutic agents toxicity, so we will restrict ourselves for very few drugs. So apart from that, so you will be knowing, so whatever the effects shown by the drug, if it is given in excess, what will be the effects that are exaggerated, that will be the toxicity due to the therapeutic agent. So I will cover therapeutic agent toxicity. Food and feed additive, only few will produce toxicity, that I will going to highlight. And other thing, environmental pollutant, that I am not going to cover. So you already studied about this environmental pollutants in so many subjects, so I am not going to cover the environmental pollutant. So then we are going to revise. So I will take up some question papers and we are going to revise in the next coming classes. Thank you.